Hello and welcome back to Ace Academy. With some time on my hands, I head to the library and actually squeeze in a study session. The library's packed, which I guess makes sense given that the exams are right around the corner. After circling the desks a couple of times, I managed to sneak into a desk stall just as another student is leaving. I feel like a car trying to find a parking space in a crowded lot. Been there. A few hours go by in a blur. Valerie texts at one point saying the changes are done, but otherwise nothing eventful happens.
That's all the studying I can do in one sitting.
I pack up my tablet and wonder if anyone's available. I haven't seen Yuna in a bit. Yuna pops into my mind and I decide to give her a call. Wonder how she's spending her reading week. She answers the phone almost immediately.
Hello?
Hey Yuna.
Oh, I was in the middle of calling you when you called me.
Does that mean you were thinking about me?
Yes.
Oh, good. I'm a little surprised by how frank she is. Obviously I was thinking about you too.
Would you like to come over?
Sure, I'll be right there.
Great. I'll see you soon.
When we hang up, alright.
When we hang up, I head to my bike and drive to Yuna's house. While parking, I knock soundly on her door. There's a shuffling on the other side, and it takes her a while before she opens the door a crack.
No!
She slams the door shut again. That was strange. There are more noises on the other side of the door before Yuna flings it open.
Hi.
Hey. Woof! Aww. I stare at the wriggling ball of fur trying to jump free from her arms. Puppy! I open my arms and Yuna lets the pup hop into them. Tail slaps my body with each wag as the puppy tries to plant kisses all over my face. Oh, you didn't tell me you've got a dog?
I'm just borrowing him for now.
Borrowing. Yuna moves aside so I can enter and closes the door behind me. Then she puts the puppy down, scampers to my leg and paws at my feet as I carefully make my way to the couch. Yuna sits down beside me.
Okay, not really borrowing. I've been volunteering at the local animal shelter since I moved to Isokaze, and when I found out they needed foster homes for some of their pets, I volunteered to take Mochi home with me. As you can tell, he loves people, and he's already been housebroken, so they don't think it'll be long before he gets adopted.
Mochi tries fruitlessly to hop onto the couch and misses each time. After attempting a few more times, he sits back on his haunches and whines. Yuna giggles and then scoops him back up in her arms and he settles into her lap. How long have you had him?
About a week. Actually, I wanted to ask you about that. I'll have to give him back next week, but I don't really want to.
You want to adopt him?
She nods and fondly pets Moshi's head.
The house doesn't feel so big and empty when he's around.
I glance at the living room. The space is conservatively decorated, but includes a lot of photographs of the family. Antique vases and cabinets tastefully fill the space. I wonder if these are family heirlooms or items passed down from generation to generation. Looking at all the smiling faces of Yuna, Yaodai and their parents, I can understand why Yuna feels alone in such a big house. She's constantly reminded of the past. Well, what did your parents say? Yuna bites her lip.
I haven't told them yet.
Not even about fostering the puppy?
No. I'm not sure what they'll say. We used to have dogs back when we still lived in the countryside, so it's not like I don't know how to take care of them. Maybe they won't even notice.
Alright.
Mochi's plush bed is in the corner of where the kitchen and the living room connect. Compared to the rest of the decor, his colourful and modern toys stick out like sore thumbs. I think they might. She frowns and furrows her brow. Mochi seems to sense her anxiety and places her front paws on her chest to lick her face again.
Mochi!
She turns her face away but laughs. Just ask your parents. You should talk to your parents. I'm sure they'd understand if you told them why. She wrinkles her brow again and then nods.
I suppose it can't be helped. They'd find out sooner or later.
Sounds like you've already made up your mind.
Maybe.
She pauses.
It's not that I'm worried my parents will say no. I don't think they'd be opposed to the idea. I don't want them to think they're bad parents. I understand why they don't stay here for too long, and I don't want them to think I'm lonely.
Are you lonely?
It can be a little quiet.
Well, whenever it starts feeling too quiet, you can always give me a call. I'll come over, keep you company. She blushes.
Thanks.
We pause. Do you ever miss the countryside? She blinks at surprise.
A little. I love Isokaze, but sometimes I wish we were a little closer to nature. What about you?
Yeah, me too. I'm very, me in reality, I'm very much one of those people who, I've never understood the appeal of gardens. And that's not because I dislike, plants and dislike things that grow. I just, I much prefer a proper forest or something of that ilk, to, a manicured lawn, because manicured lawn is boring. A forest is interesting. There's stuff and things, and then, there's a rather good sort of small forest thing quite near me, as in within 10-15 minutes walking distance, which is actually really good for dog walking. But so me too. I know what you mean. Whenever I need to clear my head, I like to sit in the green of the trees and think. Una smiled.
Me too. Something about being away from the noise of everyday life is really soothing.
So why don't we do something to get away this weekend?
Like what?
We could go camping.
But what about exams?
We've already been studying hard for them all week. A break would be nice, especially since we don't want to get burned out. Una looks thoughtful as a smile gradually graces her lips.
It doesn't sound so bad. Plus, I haven't gone in a while.
Then it's about time, isn't it?
Okay, let's do it.
Moshi yips and hops off Yuna's lap. He races towards his bed of toys, sliding on the hardwood floors.
I think he wants to play.
Forget toys, give belly rubs. You sure he wants to play, or does he want belly rubs? I catch up to the little puppy and scratch behind his ears. His tongue lolls out as he flops to the side, exposing his belly. I rub his belly as he leans back in enjoyment. When I pause, he sits back up and nudges my hand. Una giggles.
What a little attention seeker. Oops, now that he's all wound up, I should probably take him for a walk so he doesn't accidentally wet himself.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Do you want to join?
I glance out the window at the darkened sky. I should probably get back before it gets too late. Una nods.
Thanks for coming over.
No problem.
Bye, Mochi.
Una picks up one of Mochi's paws and waves it around.
Bye-bye.
We both laugh as Mochi looks down at his paw in confusion. You can actually teach dogs to wave, Una grabs the leash and secures it around Mochi's neck, and then we leave the house together. She heads towards the park, while I head back to my bike and drive home. After parking my bike, I let myself into the house, and the living room's empty. Where is everybody? I hear voices in the kitchen and hurry over. I pause as soon as I push open the doors. Hey, at least she's wearing clothes this time. Nikki is bent over the table laughing, and Aunt Yuuki stands by the fridge laughing as hard as Nikki, while Uncle Kaido chugs water, looking increasingly confused. Oh, hi Aunt Yuuki. Didn't know you were here. Aunt Yuuki tries to compose herself when she sees me, and then rushes over and gives me a hug.
Oh good, you're home. Oops, I've got some flour on you.
That's okay. Uncle Kaido's eyes are watering as he lunges towards the fridge and pulls out a carton of milk. Are you okay, Uncle Kaido? He doesn't answer as he chugs a fresh glass of milk. Nikki finally composes herself enough to answer.
Aunt Yuki's making us Chinese food tonight. She ran one of the chilies around the rim of Uncle Kaito's glass when he wasn't looking.
She starts laughing again.
It doesn't hit you at first. Once it does.
Uncle Kaido takes another swig of milk while Aunt Yuuki giggles.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
Their laughter's infectious, and I find myself laughing with them. It's good to see Aunt Yuuki hasn't lost her sense of humour. Uncle Kaido, hasn't Aunt Yuuki played this same prank on you before?
She has. That's what makes it so funny.
It's been a while. Cut me some slack.
You're losing your touch.
Aunt Yuki's been away for too long.
Nikki sighs.
Do you really have to leave again, Aunt Yuki? It's so fun when you're around.
Hey, are you saying I'm not fun?
No, you're fun too.
That sounded awfully like a pity compliment.
Nikki giggles. Aunt Yuki fidgets with the corner of her apron.
Actually, you'll all be seeing a lot more of me.
Kaido looks at her in surprise.
Really?
She meets his gaze and nods.
If that's all right with you.
Of course. I just... Does that mean you're really going to stay here?
Yeah. Unless there's a reason why I shouldn't.
No.
Kaido hesitates. Nikki watches with bated breath. Her eyes are wide with excitement, and I can tell it's taking a lot of self-control for her to keep quiet. I'm unsure if I should even be witnessing this conversation. Aunt Yuki seems to understand Uncle Kaido's unspoken question.
Watching you with the kids, you've, changed.
Yuki,
Nikki can't hold it anymore and explodes.
Aunt Yuki belongs here, Uncle Kaito. Let her stay.
Both Yuki and Kaido blush deeply. Nikki!
What? They clearly need my help.
Let's give them some privacy. I begin to push her out of the room.
But...
No buts! Reluctantly, Nikki allows me to lead her out of the kitchen and into the living room. We both sit on the couch and I turn on the TV.
Do you think Aunt Yuki will really stay?
Now why isn't there an I hope so option? Anyway, of course. She still cares for Uncle Kaido. He still cares for her. I have a feeling that once she comes back, she won't be going anywhere.
I hope so. Then we'll be a family again.
Well, let's face it. The big thing that caused their issues was that he wasn't ready for kids. And let's face it, he's basically been looking after us for a while. Well, he hasn't been doing a terribly good job of it. We've been mostly looking after ourselves, but there's nothing like having kids in your life to make you realize you want them yourself. I glance at Nikki. She looks hopeful, but apprehensive. Again, we've always been a family.
I know, but it wasn't the same without Aunt Yuki around. It felt incomplete somehow, like Uncle Kaito was missing a part of himself.
And it'll definitely be more interesting having her back. We wait in silence. Every so often Nikki would sneak glances at the door, but she doesn't move. I can't ignore the delicious smell of Kung Po chicken wafting out the kitchen, and my stomach grumbles loudly. Kinda wish they were having this conversation after we'd eaten. Nikki giggles.
Are you ever not hungry?
Her eyes widen as her stomach grumbles just as loudly. Now it's my turn to laugh. Luckily, we don't have to wait much longer before Aunt Yuki pops her head out.
Are you kids hungry yet?
Starving!
Then I guess we'd better feed you. Dinner's ready.
I jump to my feet and race into the kitchen, but Nikki lingers beside Aunt Yuki.
Does this mean you're staying?
Of course I'm staying. There's no way I'm going to let Kato keep you kids to himself.
Nikki grins from ear to ear and hugs Yuki tightly.
I'm so happy! There will finally be another woman in the house!
Aunt Yuki laughs as the two of them join us at the table.
I don't know how you managed all by yourself.
Me neither.
Everyone is all smiles as we sit down to eat.
After dinner, Nikki dragged Aunt Yuki upstairs to show her the new dress she bought last week. Uncle Kaido and I are watching TV. In the middle of our show, his phone dings with an email. As he opens up at his email, his jaw sets. What is it?
It's an email from the PI.
What does it say? He holds the phone out for me to see and we review the email together. Again, the content doesn't share much, but stresses the accident might have been more than just an accident. The other driver had been spotted talking to Dad right before the car crash. Wait, someone wanted to hurt Dad? On purpose? Kaido's voice is grim.
That seems to be what the PI is implying.
Why would he want to hurt them?
I wish I knew. Wasn't the other driver someone your dad knew?
Yeah, Ezra Wilson, Dad's colleague. They work closely on projects together.
Did something happen between them?
Not that I know of, and well, we can't even ask him. He's in a coma last I heard. Kaido nods.
Well, the PI is still investigating. I'm sure he'll have more information soon.
None of this is making any sense. Ezra and Dad worked on the same project together for as long as I can remember. He always seemed like a nice guy. I can't imagine he'd want to hurt Dad. Does this mean Dad knew this was coming too? But how could he? He only left because Nikki called him. And what about Mom? I let out a frustrated sigh. I wish he could tell me what happened. Wait a minute. Dad's research. A strange encryption in my core. Uncle Kaido notices the change in my expression.
What is it?
I wonder if this has something to do with my core.
Because of the weird thing it did during your first match?
Maybe.
If whoever wanted your dad dead was after your core, then you might be in danger. You probably shouldn't use Eagle again just to be safe.
I wouldn't go that far. All my core did was use an extra energy packs. At least that's what my professor said. And that's why the referees didn't disqualify me from the match.
Extra energy doesn't sound like something to kill over.
My thoughts exactly. I brought up the core for a different reason. Look, it might be nothing, but our team engineer found a weird encryption from Dad in my core. She didn't think it was anything important, but now I'm not so sure.
What does it say?
I don't know. He nods. I try to refocus on the TV show, but can't stop thinking about the accident on purpose. I think I'm just going to go to bed.
Alright. Try not to stress too much about this. I promise we'll find out what happened.
I smile weakly. Thanks, Uncle Kaido. After saying goodnight, I get ready for bed and slip under the blankets. I close my eyes, trying to clear my mind, but I end up running through every detail of the accident. I remember hoping to find a clue, and I eventually fall asleep out of pure exhaustion. I slap off my alarm and feel unusually energized this morning. Today's our match against Akira, and after the training session yesterday with Coach Ivan, I feel confident in our abilities. This should be an exciting match. After getting ready, I wolf down my breakfast and drive to school. Yuna stops me on the way to the pre-combat room.
Hey!
Oh, hey Yuna.
I'm glad I ran into you.
Does it count as running into me if you know exactly where I would be?
Yes.
She grins and thrusts a tablet in front of me.
Do you mind filling out this survey really quickly?
Survey? For what?
The session with Coach Ivan. Since yesterday's guest coach was a new initiative for Dashu, they like to gauge how valuable you all thought the session was. I've managed to track down everyone else, so yours is the last form I need.
Okay. I take a minute to fill out the survey, and once I've finished, I hand the tablet back to Yuna.
Thanks.
No problem. I'm kind of impressed that Dasha would go the extra mile to get someone like Coach Ivan to consult for a non-professional team. Yuna smiles.
That's one of the reasons I like them.
Wonder how they got him to agree.
Oh, it was easy. All I had to do was call.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I found his contact information online and figured it couldn't hurt to reach out. I asked his manager if this was something they'd be interested in, and luckily it was. Then I introduced the idea to Dashu, along with the proposal I'd put together. After that, it was just a matter of getting their approval and support with logistics.
You put all of this together? Yuna blinks in surprise and then blushes.
It wasn't all me.
But the idea was yours. Actually, you helped out with some of the logistics for the Dasho event before the XZ concert too.
Yeah, but it was for stuff involving the team. I wanted to make sure you guys were getting properly introduced and represented.
Yuna, you're amazing. She blushes even deeper.
It was nothing, really. Anyway, thanks for filling this out.
Sure, I better go now. Kaori's probably gonna blow a blood vessel waiting for me. She nods and then gets on her toes and kisses me.
For luck.
Maybe I need another. She grins and our lips meet again.
Now you absolutely can't lose.
We won't. Don't tempt fate, you numbskull. She waves goodbye before heading towards the stadium, while I head into the pre-combat room. I quickly change into my pilot's outfit and join the rest of my team at the holotable. Carrie's busy plotting out the arena and our representative gears, and everyone else silently watches. It's finally starting to set in that we're being matched against the top pilot at Ace. The confidence that I felt earlier wanes. After a couple more seconds, Carrie takes a step back from the holograph, looks over our handiwork.
Okay, this is what the war game layouts will be. As you all know, we'll be facing against Reborn, Akira's team. Mayu, can you report on their gear composition and weaponry?
Mayu nods and her fingers dart across the holotable.
Reborn is fully sponsored by Eludian Enterprises, which means they provide Reborn with the same cutting-edge weaponry that they provide their professional teams.
That does not seem terribly fair to me, but okay.
Each gear is kitted out for specific purposes. That means, individually, they may have weaknesses, but as a unit, they cover each other's vulnerabilities.
Hold on. We may have actually lucked out.
Mayu should show a questioning look.
Well, you know how they're smashing everyone in terms of points? Win or lose, they're still going to be the number 1 seeded team.
Okay, how does that help us?
This happened last year as well. When Reborn was guaranteed the first ranked spot, they subbed in their backup pilots.
Really? I didn't even notice.
It's not a well-known fact because their 4-man gear equipment is always the same. But if you dig into their pilot history, you'll see it. And the stats show that when they started putting in their subs, their overall performance did decline, even if it was just a little.
So, what you're saying is that we'll be fighting against their backups, since they already have a guaranteed first seed?
Everyone but Phoenix.
Phoenix?
Akira's gear. Only he pilots it.
I'm surprised by Sho. He certainly didn't provide the same input in our previous matches as he did on this one, even when one of the matches was against his own roommate. This match must really mean something to him. We can use it in our favour. Well, we press any advantage we can get. Carrie nods.
Agreed. Okay, so we can definitely use this to our advantage.
What we need to do is take out his support, then dogpile him. I don't care how good he is, he can't take all 4 of us. Carrie changes up to some of the notes on the holotable.
I have an idea. What if we employ the same tactic we did against Tatsuo's team? Focus down Akira.
Mayu shakes her head.
That won't work. Claw of the Wild's team is Tatsuo. However, every member of Reborn is going to be strong, even without Akira.
True, but Akira still surpasses the rest of his team in terms of skill. Instead of focusing Akira, what if we try to pull him out and play a 3v3 against the other members?
Who's going to handle 1v1 with Akira?
That'd be me and the swanky core. We all look at each other. Although none of us want to admit it, it's painfully clear he would beat any one of us in a duel. I can do it. We might not be able to beat him in a straight match, but at least I have my overdrive mode as our pocket ace again. Carrie nods.
And since we haven't used it since the qualifiers, they definitely won't be expecting that.
That's right. As long as you keep Akira busy, we have a strong chance of beating the rest of the team and then helping you with Akira.
Yep.
It won't be that easy, but I think this is our best chance at winning.
We hash out the details of the plan on the holotable.
Remember not to immediately activate your overdrive mode when you start.
Of course. I nod. I'll be on a timer once it activates. 3 minutes. So I should use it wisely.
Exactly. Let's recap then. We'll create distance between the 3 of us and Eagle, with suppressive fire. We'll make it impossible for them to even attempt to gang up. If they stick together, we can keep our distance and trap them in crossfire. When they start to create distance with one another, Eagle will hard engage Phoenix, and we'll do the same with our respective opponents. Positioning will play a big part. We'll have to capitalize on the fact that Akira doesn't have as much team cohesion practice with the subs as he would with the regular starters.
Carrie looks at me.
You'll keep Akira engaged as long as you can, and we'll use the overdrive mode if it starts to look bad.
I nod.
That leaves the rest of us with 3-on-3. It'll be a tough match, but we should be able to beat Reborn substitute pilots without Akira there.
What if Broseph goes down?
A valid concern. We should plan that out too.
Depending on the battle condition, it might be worth going for the safer points if things aren't in our favor.
You mean take out the weakened gears instead of going for a win?
Carrie crosses her arms but nods, and I blink in surprise. Judging by the sour look in her face, I can tell the strategy isn't ideal for her, but Carrie from before would never have considered it. She then looks at Mayu.
I agree. That would be the best course of action.
We win and gang up on Akira afterwards, otherwise we go for the safe points instead of trying for the win. Broseph fights Akira, we fight the other three.
Okay. If you look at the subtitles, that's the wrong way around, but it doesn't matter. It means the same.
Correct.
Shu nods. Okay, I get it. My nerves are still jumpy, but I feel positive about our plan.
We can do this!
Everyone stares at Mayu. She blinks, then pokes two fingers together.
I mean, if we try...
The team laughs. Ever since she got together with Sho, she's been a lot more confident, and I'm really happy for her. The alarm rings, signaling for us to get to our stations.
Let's go!
You know what? I appreciate we're only at the sort of 25-26 minute mark, but I feel like this fight's probably going to take more than 3 or 4 minutes, and I don't want to stop in the middle of it. So I will say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.